Hi friends, welcome to North Pole TV. My name is Mike Dorn, and today we're going to be talking about Bitcoin again. I've done a couple of videos on Bitcoin and they didn't get much response, and one of the, I've noticed on the internet, on YouTube, there's several Bitcoin videos that are pretty crappy in my estimation, my opinion. Pretty crappy, mine are no worse, and yet they have thousands of hits and I have like none, or 6 or something like that. So I did notice one of the differences. Their title had big numbers in it, the big splashy numbers, $5 million per Bitcoin, and Bitcoin worth $1 million by 2018, and all these crazy sort of numbers. Now, it's not impossible that Bitcoin could explode up to those numbers, but it's not really likely. Although it is likely that Bitcoin is going to get to some pretty high values, I think. It's just that some people are putting up these crazy numbers. I can't go crazy like that just to draw views, but I do have some reasoning behind this number, so I'm putting this out there in the title and see if you don't agree that maybe this number is fairly reasonable. So we're going to get into that in a second. Stay with me. Thank you. All right. So first we're going to talk about market capitalization. If you know stocks, you know what it is, but some people don't know stocks, so they don't know what it is. Market capitalization is, if we're talking stocks, it's the number of shares. Suppose a company has 10 million shares. So the number of shares times the share price, how much the stock is worth. So if the share price is $20 and there's 20 million, or what did I say, 10 million shares for the company, so 10 million times $20 would be $200 million market cap. Okay, Bitcoin has today's price is about $11.50. And there's about 16.2 million Bitcoins out there. So when you do the math, that works out to 18.6 billion market cap. Should have put that in there. Whoops. $16 billion market cap on February 26, 2017. Now, price changes that affect the market cap. With today's 16.2 million Bitcoins that are in existence, for every $60 that the price goes up, it adds another $1 billion to the market cap. So again, today we're at about 18.6, let's say 18 to $19 billion market cap. That's where we're at today. To get up to say $20 billion market cap, we got to add another $60 to the price. So right now it's about $11.50. When it gets up to around 12, 20 or so, then it should be closer to $20 billion market cap. All right, am I making sense? All right, so yes, and this $60 rise that's needed to add $1 billion to the market cap will come down to $50, closer to $50, as more Bitcoins are mined and brought into existence. Bitcoin mining is a very technical and hard to explain subject, nothing I'm an expert on by any means, so we're not even going to talk about that. But that's how Bitcoins are brought into existence. Computer geeks with their massive computers mine the Bitcoins with computer algorithms and solving problems, and they get paid Bitcoin. All right, so that's that. Now, the rate of Bitcoin increase from January 11th, 2017, this year, to February 26th, that's about 6 weeks, a little more than that. What? Oh, there it goes. Over this recent time, the price went from about $800 to $1,200. Nice rise. Using that rate increase, we can say that a $400 rise over 6 weeks, or it's an $800 rise over 3 months. This roughly translates to our $60 rise needed to add $1 billion to the market cap, happening every week. Okay, so we need $60 we need $60 to add $1 billion to the market cap, right? We got that straight. Now, at the rate we're going recently with Bitcoin over the last 6 weeks, that extra billion is added every week. So we get roughly, approximately, $60 rise in the Bitcoin price every week for the last six weeks. 7 weeks almost. Excuse me. How much is a trillion? Now, I'm sure that you probably know how much a trillion is, but I think I know a few people that aren't really sure. And so we just want to get that clear. So a trillion is 1,000 billions. 1,000 billions equals a trillion. And that could, at today's Bitcoin, approximate $20 billion Bitcoin market cap, it means that Bitcoin still needs to gain another $980 billion valuation market cap before it reaches the 1 trillion that we're after here. Okay, so I hope that's straight to you. How long will it take to gain $980 billion market cap? We need to gain that $980 billion. At the recent rate of price increase, which is 1 week to add another billion to the market cap, that works out to be about another 19 years for Bitcoin to reach the $1 trillion market cap goal. That would be in the year 2036. Now, why do I say the price will be $47,619.05? I'm estimating the price based on the world's total GDP, or gross domestic product. Currently, the gross domestic product of all the countries combined is equal to 80 trillion. Okay, that's in US dollars. It's how much money trades hands in the world every year, 80 trillion, roughly. We just want one of those trillions for our Bitcoin estimations. So one of those trillions represents just 1.25% of the global GDP. I and many others feel it is well within reason to think that Bitcoin can attain that 1.25% market share of global GDP, transactional GDP. By design, if you don't know a lot about Bitcoin, by design there are only ever going to be 21 million Bitcoins, no less, no more. If you divide $1 trillion by 21 million Bitcoins, guess what number you get? $47,619.05 to be exact. Now, one wrinkle in these numbers is that it's expected that it will be year 2040 before all 21 million Bitcoins have been mined into existence. But regardless of that, I say Bitcoin will reach $1 trillion market cap before all the Bitcoins are mined. So it's just even better. All right, time calculations. How do I get 2023? So, two things to factor into time estimates are, as the remaining Bitcoins are mined into existence, their added numbers will accelerate the rise to towards our $1 million market cap. All right, so it only makes sense, right? You've got the price on one side of the equation. The other side of the equation is the how many Bitcoins. Well, that's always going up until it hits 21 million anyway. That's always going to keep going up to 21 million. So that helps accelerate how fast we accumulate those billions up towards the trillion. Got me? Okay, good. And as the price per Bitcoin rises, the other side of the equation, it will also have a significant quickening effect towards the $1 trillion market cap. Probably even more significant than this, I would think, because I expect the price to get high. Right now, today's value of $11.50, we're used to seeing Bitcoin rise and fall, fluctuate $50 to $100 in a day, no sweat. That's a 5 to 10% gain in one day. It does more and it does less, of course, but we're just sort of taking a general number here. 5 to 10% gains in Bitcoin in one day are not uncommon at all. Now, these wild fluctuations will eventually smooth out to a slower, steadier climb, but not very soon, if you ask me. We can expect at least 3 more years of volatility, but always Bitcoin will go up in the end, God willing. Yes, there is a God if you're into that, but anyway, we'll talk about that another time. So what I'm guessing is that when Bitcoin is worth over $10,000, for example, it will still routinely fluctuate 5 to 10% in very short periods of time. So a 10% gain on a $10,000 Bitcoin would be $1,000, $1,000. A 5% gain on a 10,000 Bitcoin would be $500, and again, in a short period of time. Averaged out with ups and downs, but mostly ups, upward trend. Let's say it will take a week to gain the $500. Now, remember before we were gaining $60 a week to add $1 billion to the market cap per week. On that pace, it had to be $60 a week to keep that pace with $1 billion added to the market cap per week. Well, in the future, when the Bitcoin price is like $10,000, now it's going to be about, I'm guessing, about 8 or 9 billion added to the market cap every week because it's exploded the price. So now the percentages are much more valuable. All right, okay, so here we go here. Yeah, that's all explained there. That should be 50,000, not 60. Okay, my calculation said 19 years to reach the $1 trillion market cap, but with the quickening variables I just talked about, it's clearly going to be a lot less than 19 years before we hit by the time we hit the $1 trillion market cap. How much less, I can't say. That kind of math is beyond my mathematical knowledge. It gets into some tricky stuff. If I was to guess, just a sort of rough guess, I'd guess that the 19 years can be hacked down to pretty much be half of what it is. Because look, like I said, 8 or 9, by the time we're at 10,000, we're looking at 8 or 9 being a pretty average, 8 or 9 weeks what used to take 1 week is now taking 8 or 9 weeks. And then when it gets up to 20,000, it's going to be even more. 30,000, even faster. It's just going to start really rocketing up toward $1 billion pretty quickly, I think. How much less I can't say. That kind of math to be on my scope. I was to guess that yes, it can be cut in half. So that puts us about, if we cut it in half, it puts us at 2025, 2026. But if we factor in an increased adoption and usage rate as Bitcoin becomes more user-friendly, more trusted, more popular, and more mainstream, we can knock even more years off of the 8-9 years I figured on before. Those particular adjustments are impossible to anticipate or estimate because it will be dependent upon so many variables that are unknown. World events affect the price of Bitcoin just like stocks. I've been monitoring the thing for Bitcoin for a couple of years, and I monitored it for quite a while before I jumped in. It doesn't behave the way stocks do. Stocks, when things bad happen in the world, the economy turns down, or there's bad news, a war starts, something like that, stocks go down. Even if it's just for a day or two, they go down. Bitcoin has gone down under bad news, but it comes back so quickly that it's got a lot of lift to it. There's a lot of upward pressure to it. It's just incredible. And because there's only 21 million, and if it gets more and more popular, I mean, it has to go up. There's just no other way it can go. But it's impossible to anticipate exactly what's going to happen there with the events in the world. Yeah, so I like it because it doesn't do what when stocks tank, it does something different. Not only is Bitcoin resilient against market drops, but it often goes in the opposite direction. I think I talked about that. Okay. I'm willing to guess that Bitcoin will hit $1 trillion market cap and be worth about $50,000 per coin 8 to 9 years from now in 2026. But it could happen a lot faster than that, depending on world events. Excuse me. Several countries' governments, India and Venezuela to name two, have started banning cash. Many people like me fear the governments everywhere want to ban cash and make every single transaction worldwide electronic so that they have they being the globalist banksters, so that they have full control of all of our finances. All money in the world is under their control. They can glam their percentage off at every point, everything that happens. They can also ruin you at the push of a button. And this is why I'm totally against that kind of thing. Bitcoin is an excellent way to defeat them, no matter how much they don't like it and try to outlaw it. President Trump, who I support, yay, President Trump, he may not support Bitcoin. We just don't know. He may even try to ban it. It'd be a mistake if he did, because he would lose that battle, and it would look bad on him, and he'd be wasting his time. However, his presidency promises, no matter what happens, his presidency promises to be, no matter what happens with Bitcoin, I'm saying. However, his presidency promises to be a tremendous and exciting ride with many big upheaval type events to come. That'll be good for Bitcoin because many will flock to it as a store, as they are now, as a store of wealth away from the banks and the Federal Reserve and the government oversight and intrusion. And that's not just in the U.S. either. The U.S. has broken away from globalist domination, globalist banker domination. They've broken away from that. Well, let's call it globalist corporate domination. It's really the bankers at the very top, but just to make it clear to you, globalist corporations are trying to run the world, and sovereign nations like the U.S., Britain, Italy, Iceland, and France is looking to become. Maybe France and others will all be part of the breakaway from the global banksters movement that Bitcoin has been such a huge part of and will be such a huge part of. So with the world changes I see on the horizon, my educated guess is that there's going to be an event or two in Trump's first term as president that are big enough in shock value that the events will shake the world. That will shake their confidence in the markets, I guess. And a shaken world means wider adoption of Bitcoin. People will run to it. Now, if I'm to guess at a number that is an accelerating factor of, say, I guess 15% adoption increase for each of these two shocking events over the next 4 years. There'll be all kinds of events, but I'm talking about two major shocking events over the next 4 years. By my reckoning, it brings the 1 trillion market cap closer by 2 to 3 years. Just a guess, but so that would, and most of this is a guess, I guess. So that would make each Bitcoin worth approximately $50,000 in 5 to 6 years, rather than the 8 or 9 years I was talking about before. So my final best guess is a $1 trillion market cap for Bitcoin and $47,619.05 Bitcoin value by 2023. I will be thanking God very much if that happens. Now, miracles and providence can happen to any of us, and I do feel that God has allowed Bitcoin into the world for the benefit of humanity, for us, the small people, not for the big banksters. They've been controlling things and all the wealth forever. Time to get rid of that, and this Bitcoin is going to help us do that. So, I can hardly wait for that. Anyway, thanks for tuning in, friends. I hope you enjoyed it. See you next time.